Speaking of the Marxist left, this is something you want to see, and then I'll wrap up the show for today. This is going to be something from the ADL talking about combating hate speech. Right now, the way they're doing it is with a lot of artificial intelligence. And the reason I can tell you that 100% for certain is because the last 2 strikes I got on my big channel that had the channel temporarily terminated were on videos which were set to private. And the notification said that the videos had been flagged. Well, I set the videos to private so that nobody could possibly see them and flag them. Something gets flagged when somebody watches it and says, I think this is harassment and bullying. I think this is dangerous content. I think this violates the codes of conduct. Then somebody's supposed to watch it and say it does, and then give you a strike. Well, they've kind of changed that process, we know, using artificial intelligence now, scrolling for certain keywords and phrases, and doing the flagging and strike process in a completely automated way. And then perhaps if you appeal the automated strike, then perhaps a human will go ahead and take a look at it. I'm not sure if that's what happens either, because a number of people have reported who had their channels either terminated or multiple strikes, that when they appealed the strikes they got, which were most likely from AI looking for things like David Hogg in the title or crisis actor in the title, or maybe even listening to your words, because they do transcribe the audio from these videos automatically. So we know they can look for words in what actually comes out of our mouths as well. And then the AI, given instructions by humans on what to look for, humans like the ADL, will go through and automatically give you strikes, flag your videos, even if they are set to private. In one case, in my case, and I saw another YouTuber say the same thing happened to him on a video that was already deleted weeks before getting a strike. Another YouTuber reported the same thing. Ultimately, I had that strike removed, which is why I still have my big channel Lift the Veil, but I'm unable to upload there at the moment. This channel, maybe I told you this earlier, should be live for live streaming in 2 days, which would be Monday. And then, just so you know, I'm going to be at a big protest, the March for Our Lives protest in Los Angeles, and I'm fundraising for that with my t-shirts, with my donations. I'm going to be there asking the tough questions, maybe wearing my Truth Matters t-shirt and trying to figure out what these gun confiscation folks are really all about in person. I'm thinking there might be a lot of people there. They say there might be 500,000 showing up in Washington, D.C., and the Los Angeles protest looks like it may be significant as well, and we might see some of the young stars promoting this gun control agenda. Now, who is helping out with YouTube and creating these algorithms that take down hate speech, bullying, harassment? The ADL and the SPLC, 2 very, very sketchy organizations. The ADL, I found out through Truth Factory, was founded because they were defending a Jewish person who was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. And they decided that the reason that person was being accused of raping this 13-year-old girl was because they were Jewish, and it was anti-Semitism. And that's how the ADL came to be. There may be some reason to believe that the person that they founded the Anti-Defamation League for was actually guilty. There may be some reason to believe that, although they were able, through their organization, which goes after anti-Semitism, the same way the SPLC does quite a bit as well. That's what they were founded on, and now they have built artificial intelligence for their online hate index. Let me show you this video, and it's a 1 minute 14-second video. I think
ADL
I'll be
and the
okay.
University of California
I'm going to show you some of the
have been working to
charts.
develop a new approach to tackle online hate using the latest methods. The goal of the Online Hate Index is to help tech platforms better.
Let me show you how transparent these guys are about, being open about what people think about what they're doing, etc. Like, dislike is turned off, so you can't see how many thumbs up or thumbs down this video gets. Comments are disabled. So we have no idea how people are reacting to this. We have no idea if those were originally publicly visible or if they shut them off from the beginning. This has about 10,500 views. I want to thank Activist Post for posting this on Steemit. That's how I found it. You can find me on Steemit at steemit.com/@lifttheveil411, by the way.
Better understand the growing amount of hate on social media and to use that information to address the problem.
Watch these charts really quick.
By combining artificial intelligence and machine learning with social science, the Online Hate Index will ultimately uncover and identify trends and patterns in hate speech across different platforms. We've just completed our first phase.
I'll show you those again.
And we found that the machine learning model identified hate speech accurately between 78 and 85% of the time. In the next phase of our project, we will look at specific targeted populations in a more detailed manner. We'll examine content on multiple social media sites, and we'll identify strategies to deploy the model more broadly. While there's still a long way to go with artificial intelligence and machine learning-based solutions, we believe the Online Hate Index will help tech companies better understand the extent of hateful content on their platforms by creating community-based definitions of hate speech.
Which community, I wonder? You have to see these charts and then get scared. I'm going to show you these charts. That's the best part of this video. Boy, this is the beginning of the end for speech. I'll show you here. Okay, here's the first chart. This is the Online Hate Index, and it shows what these bubbles show is the amount of hate that is associated with these particular words. And the bigger the circle, the more hate is associated with these particular words. The biggest bubble is Jew. The second biggest bubble is white. Then you have hate, actually has its own bubble, black, women. Somehow targeting these specific words, you find out how much hate goes along with them. I'm going to advance to the next chart.
Will ultimately uncover
this one's great. Hate comments count by subreddit. Look at that giant bubble that says white rights, and right underneath it, the Donald. And right underneath that, 9/11 truth. They have their own bubble for hate. Censorship has a bubble bigger than that. There's a lot of hate speech associated with the word censorship. Quite a bit. The men's rights bubble is second largest. Then you have phrases like the new right, First Amendment, a conspiracy gets a big bubble. Lots of hate comments by count and subreddit in conspiracy. Guns are cool. Republican gets a big bubble. Then you have one that stands out as being a little different than the others, Nazi hunting. Somehow Nazi hunting is a big enough thing that they got their own bubble as well. Very, very frightening 1984 type information here. And then let me show you the very last one. This is funny. Average number of all caps words in hate versus non-hate comments. They find hate comments show up for as compared to something in all caps in a hate category versus a non-hate category, you get 1.2 all caps statements in the hate category versus every one you get in the non-hate category. I see a lot of, anyway, I can't even tell you this stuff. This stuff is so crazy. Conspiracy, 9/11 truth, all associated with hate. You tell me what kind of world we're living in.